Introduction. The situation is very unstable, it's about to explode. The timing is uncertain. It could happen tomorrow or it could even occur during this broadcast. When it does, it will shine like a second sun in the sky. The James Webb Telescope has recently detected a sudden 250% increase in Betelgeuse's brightness. Betelgeuse, the red star located at the shoulder of the Orion constellation, has been showing some peculiar behavior, fueling speculation about a possible once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. Some experts believe that this increase in brightness may indicate that the star is preparing to go supernova, but exactly when this will happen remains uncertain. Experts suggest it could be soon. Join us as we explore the depths of space and delve into the mysteries surrounding this celestial giant. After all, Betelgeuse has the potential to reshape our entire understanding of the universe with its massive increase in brightness. Even if you don't know its name, you've likely seen Betelgeuse, a brilliant reddish dot glowing at Orion's shoulder, a well-known constellation. Betelgeuse is incredibly massive. If it were placed at the center of our solar system, its outer surface would extend beyond Jupiter's orbit. To this day, this colossal and easily visible star continues to captivate us. Unlike most stars, Betelgeuse visibly changes before our eyes due to its relatively close proximity to our galaxy. Betelgeuse is classified as a semi-regular variable star, meaning its brightness fluctuates, sometimes dramatically, as it steadily moves toward an inevitable grand collapse in a supernova explosion. The sudden 250% brightness surge explained. Though Betelgeuse is already quite conspicuous, it has become even more intriguing in recent years due to unexpected fluctuations in its brightness, fluctuations that scientists still struggle to fully understand. Why is Betelgeuse shining so brightly and acting so strangely? It's still uncharted territory. However, recent behavior is linked to an event in 2020. Back in 2019 and 2020, Betelgeuse underwent a period known as the Great Dimming, which we'll explore later. As a result, the nearest red giant star to Earth is now pulsating at double its usual speed, lighting up the early evening sky in the southern hemisphere. This bizarre behavior of one of the sky's brightest stars is providing scientists with unprecedented insights into the end-of-life stages of stars, as Betelgeuse rapidly transitions between bright and dim states. In recent years, Betelgeuse has shown a brightness increase of more than 50%. However, on May 20, 2023, Betelgeuse, a Twitter account dedicated to tracking Betelgeuse using data from the American Association of Variable Star Observers, reported something extraordinary: a staggering 142% surge in brightness. The most recent updates now indicate a 150% increase. Astrophysicist Andrea Dupree from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics notes that Betelgeuse currently ranks as the 7th brightest star in the night sky, climbing 3 positions from its usual 10th spot. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you can easily spot Betelgeuse shining brightly in the early evening, located at Orion's shoulder. It is also visible from the northern hemisphere as the days grow shorter. Dr. Sarah Webb, an astrophysicist from Swinburne University of Technology in Australia, points out that one of the most exciting things about Betelgeuse is that we are witnessing the final stages of a giant star's life in real time, something we've never been able to study in such detail before. By observing Betelgeuse, we can learn important information about what happens to red giants before they explode as supernovae. When it finally does explode, Betelgeuse could shine incredibly brightly for about a week, even during the day, and might even cast shadows at night. What could be causing Betelgeuse's changes? This remarkable behavior has drawn the attention of both amateur stargazers and professional astronomers. Everyone is eagerly awaiting a unique event. One day Betelgeuse will explode and end its life in a supernova. Since it is only 650 light-years away, we will have an unparalleled view of this cosmic explosion. Heidi Morris, a scientist at Los Alamos National Laboratory and president of the Pajaro Astronomers and Astronomy Club, says that people have long been fascinated by Betelgeuse. It has gone through these brightness changes for a long time. Astronomers have known for years that Betelgeuse brightens and dims cyclically. Even ancient cultures like Aboriginal Australians and the Greeks noticed this pattern thousands of years ago. Typically, Betelgeuse's brightness cycle lasts about 400 days. However, right now the star's brightness is changing much more quickly, roughly every 1,030 days, as noted by Andrea Dupree, who studies the star. This unusual behavior began in 2019 when Betelgeuse violently ejected part of its outer atmosphere. These brightness changes are not typical for Betelgeuse, but does this mean the star is about to go supernova? It's difficult to say, as this is entirely new territory for scientists. A paper co-authored by Dupree and other scientists from Harvard and UC Berkeley indicates that it could take another 5 to 10 years before Betelgeuse returns to its usual cycle of brightness changes every 400 days. The authors note that Betelgeuse has not been the same since the Great Dimming. It behaves differently in terms of light and radial velocity. Despite this, Betelgeuse remains a massive red supergiant star, living a fast and intense life. It is only about 10 million years old, whereas our Sun is 5 billion years old. Betelgeuse is currently in the final stages of its rapid evolution. When it finally exhausts its fuel, the core will collapse under its enormous mass, resulting in an explosion that could outshine an entire galaxy. The question remains, when will it happen? Is Betelgeuse about to go supernova? Many are eager to know when Betelgeuse will explode. There is much speculation about the timing, but experts are skeptical. Or Grauer, an associate professor of astronomy at the University of Portsmouth who studies supernovae and has even written a book on the subject, explains that we currently have no reliable way to predict when stars will explode. Thus, no one knows for sure when Betelgeuse will go supernova. Given how rare supernovae are, it's understandable that the timing is so uncertain. Throughout human history, we haven't had many supernovae to study. While astronomers are hopeful, the odds are slim that anyone alive today will witness Betelgeuse's spectacular explosion. Betelgeuse still has a lot of work to do before it can go supernova. As a red giant, it undergoes several fusion processes involving elements like helium, carbon, oxygen, silicon, and iron. When a star becomes a red giant, the intense pressure in its core allows it to fuse helium into carbon, a process that can take thousands of years. The star then progresses to fusing carbon and helium into oxygen, and the cycle continues, producing heavier elements such as iron. In the end, the star will no longer be able to generate energy through fusion, causing it to collapse under its own gravitational weight. The result will be either a black hole or a neutron star. Based on chemical analysis of Betelgeuse's atmosphere, the star is currently in an earlier phase of this fusion process, specifically fusing helium into carbon in its core. Unfortunately, we can't observe what's happening inside the mighty Betelgeuse. Jared Goldberg, an astrophysicist at the Flatiron Institute, points out that Betelgeuse will eventually explode, but soon in this context could mean anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 years. Goldberg jokes that he wouldn't bet his career on the star's imminent explosion. Some evidence suggests that Betelgeuse won't explode anytime soon. If we look into historical records, we'll find that over the past 2,000 years, the star has actually been getting redder. Jason Ibarra, who studies stars and the history of astronomy at West Virginia University, explains this fascinating observation. So, it seems like we may have to wait quite a while longer. Implications for our galaxy. Before Betelgeuse blows up, it implies that Betelgeuse transformed into a red supergiant relatively recently in cosmic terms, so it could take a considerable amount of time for the star to deplete its fuel completely. To the best of our knowledge, Betelgeuse is unlikely to go supernova anytime soon, according to Ibarra. But what does NASA say about when Betelgeuse will go supernova? According to NASA, Betelgeuse is not expected to explode for another 100,000 years. Heidi Morris suggests that we shouldn't assume it will remain unchanged even in 10,000 years. We should stay attentive and let it inspire us to advance scientifically. Although it is highly unlikely that we will witness Betelgeuse's explosion in our lifetime, Dr. Sarah Webb reminds us that we cannot be certain. We should keep both our fingers and toes crossed and hope for some luck. It's important to note that we are observing Betelgeuse in the past. The light we see from the star is more than 600 years old. Theoretically, Betelgeuse may have already exploded and we would be unaware of it. Indeed, this possibility exists, but it is far from definite. Past experiences have shown us that our expectations can be challenged. Prior to 1987, astronomers believed that only red supergiants could undergo a supernova. However, in the same year, a giant blue star in another galaxy exploded, surprising the scientific community. There is still much to learn and we might be in for some surprises. By observing Betelgeuse and other massive stars, we can gain a better understanding of the situation. Even without a grand explosion, Betelgeuse's current behavior is intriguing. Its oscillation between dimming and flaring reveals fascinating physics. The fact that stars pulsate on human timescales is remarkable. The star is currently much brighter than expected based on its 400-day cycle. However, there is hope that it will eventually regain its 400-day cycle. Right now, it seems to be struggling to do so. Conclusion. Betelgeuse might just explode earlier than experts believed. A study that appeared on June 2, 2023, questions our understanding of Betelgeuse's evolutionary stage. It suggests that Betelgeuse is currently in a late phase or nearing the end of the core carbon-burning process. This is the stage where carbon is converted into heavier elements like oxygen and even magnesium. This is in contrast to the current belief that Betelgeuse is in its helium-burning phase. Once the carbon is used up in its core, experts predict that a core collapse leading to a supernova explosion could happen in just a few tens of years. It's an astonishing prediction, but don't put all your trust in this prediction. The study mentions it's hard to figure out what exact stage Betelgeuse is at because the surface of stars barely changes when they're close to using up all of their carbon. According to their findings, the core collapse is expected to occur within a few tens of years after carbon depletion. This makes Betelgeuse a prime candidate for the next galactic supernova, and it's happening so close to us. While they didn't give a specific date as to when carbon depletion is going to occur, the study has stated that most of the carbon is close to being used up. After that, it's only a few tens of years until we see the star go supernova. So, is there a chance we might witness the explosion of Betelgeuse during our lifetimes? It's hard to say. The carbon-burning phase can last upwards of 1,000 years for a star like Betelgeuse. Furthermore, this study hasn't been accepted for publication, so it might have some huge changes to it before it's ready. But let's think for a second how crazy it would be if Betelgeuse went supernova. What would it look like from a star that's so close? How would Betelgeuse going supernova look when that moment arrives? It will be absolutely mind-blowing. Imagine the spectacle. The last supernova visible from Earth in our Milky Way occurred way back in 1604, but Betelgeuse is so close to us that its supernova will be incredibly bright. Expect daytime visibility for weeks. According to the latest estimates, Betelgeuse is approximately 548 light-years away from our planet. Ancient Egyptian records even speak of what could be a supernova, describing the appearance of a second sun in the sky. When Betelgeuse eventually goes boom, it will astound anyone lucky enough to witness it. The initial signs of the supernova's arrival will be subtle yet unmistakable. Neutrinos, ghostly particles emitted during the star's collapse, will sweep over Earth, triggering detectors around the world. Then, as high-energy photons escape from the expanding cloud of stellar debris, the real fireworks will commence. You won't need any special equipment, just your naked eyes. The star will gradually grow brighter in the night sky, incredibly bright, even reaching its peak brightness after a few days. What is its peak? 10,000 to 100,000 times its normal brilliance in just 1 week. Betelgeuse will become the brightest object in the sky, surpassing even Venus. Depending on the explosion strength, the remnants could be as bright as a quarter or half of a full moon, concentrated into a single point of light. And get this, you'll be able to see it during the day too. It will be luminous enough to be visible during daylight and cast dramatic shadows at night. It's going to be much, much brighter than Venus. Predictions range from anywhere between 15 to 250 times brighter than Venus. That's quite a jump, considering Venus is currently the second brightest object we see in the night sky. Imagine the sight. The explosion of Betelgeuse would be a grand spectacle that lingers in our view for a significant amount of time. Well, maybe not forever, but definitely long enough to capture our attention. This extraordinary radiance will persist for about 100 days. For astronomers, it would be a monumental event, offering a rare chance to observe the aftermath up close and uncover a treasure trove of surprising discoveries. Afterward, the star will gradually fade away over hundreds of days until it disappears into the vast darkness. But don't worry, binoculars and telescopes will allow us to observe it for an extended period. But if you're worried about any harm, don't be. Betelgeuse is still far enough away that its supernova wouldn't pose any threat to humans. Don't worry about any harmful effects. However, history tells us that such an event wouldn't go unnoticed. The night sky would undergo such a dramatic transformation, visible to everyone, and it would surely elicit a tremendous response worldwide. People of the past often interpreted supernovae as bad signs, and Betelgeuse's demise could trigger interesting reactions. The eruption of a star like Betelgeuse would undoubtedly spark intriguing discourse. The supernova of Betelgeuse would be impossible to ignore even if you tried. Astronomer Brian Penpraise believes that such a dramatic event could even cause people to wake up out of their unawareness and potentially reignite a widespread interest in astronomy, even on a civilization-wide level. Now, let's not expect a sudden explosion like a bomb going off. There could be signs or smaller eruptions preceding the grand finale. And remember, Betelgeuse isn't the only red supergiant in our galaxy. Others like Eta Carinae might burst into the sky before it does. Statistically speaking, our Milky Way should witness a supernova roughly every 50 years or so. Surprisingly, though, we haven't seen one occur in the last 400 years, although we have observed remnants of past explosions. So, statistically speaking, we're overdue for an extraordinary cosmic event. It's just a matter of time before the next star puts on its dazzling show for the universe to witness: the Great Dimming. In 2020, Betelgeuse experienced a significant event known as the Great Dimming. Instead of its usual pattern of brightening and fading, the star experienced a significant decrease in brightness, dimming by around 60% within a few months. Scientists have studied this dimming and are still working to fully understand it. The dimming of Betelgeuse captured global attention, raising the possibility that the star might be nearing a supernova. Although Betelgeuse's brightness returned to normal by April 2020, the cause of the dimming remained a mystery for some time. Eventually, researchers proposed that a combination of a dust cloud and surface activity played a role in causing the dimming. In any case, Betelgeuse has demonstrated that even without a dramatic supernova explosion, it remains one of the most fascinating stars in the sky. Whether or not we see it explode in our lifetimes, we are sure to learn much from this star as it continues its unpredictable journey toward its final fate.